I can't see nothing!
Try the morphine and move on.
Where you hit?
All because an American soldier walked up to a corpse, simply walked over, and sat down as if he were about to pull out a bucket of popcorn. Their mother, Bertha, stepped in to stop it. Desmond broke away from Hal, then grabbed a piece of roast pork and used it to calm Hal down and put him to sleep. Tom stood there stunned, while Hal lay on the bed barely breathing. From that day on, something subtle changed inside Desmond. 15 years later, the grown-up Desmond, almost like a young Spider-Man, stood on the church ladder cleaning windows. A scream caught his attention. A boy repairing a car had his jack slip, and the car crushed him. Desmond put a piece of wood under the car first, then dragged the kid out. The boy had hit a major artery. Desmond quickly untied his belt and used it as a tourniquet, then rushed him to the hospital. The doctor saw the belt on the boy's leg and praised Desmond. That taste of saving a life hooked him. He looked around at the medical staff and had a bold idea. His eyes landed on a young nurse. Her pretty face pulled him in. He used the excuse of donating blood to get close and learned her name was Dorothy Schutte. She is the real-life Desmond Doss's first wife. That night, Hal wanted to tell the family he was enlisting, but his father refused to let his son join. He had seen comrades die right before him.
Get out of my sight.
The next day, while dropping Dorothy off at work, Desmond said he wanted to join the army. She got so mad she stepped out of the car. Desmond chased her, then proposed on the spot. They agreed to marry when he got his first leave. But in that cruel era, would things go that smoothly? Soon it was time to say goodbye. Dorothy gave Desmond a Bible, a book that would play a huge role later. Desmond arrived at the camp. He walked into the barracks and saw all kinds of men, even one naked guy slumped on a beam. The sergeant arrived, and everyone straightened into a line. He walked the row and stopped at a grim soldier, then came to Desmond. Training started. The sergeant told everyone to go out and train. One recruit tried to put his shirt on but was ordered to strip, so he had to train naked. First lesson: learn a single rope knot that lets a soldier lower himself safely from heights. The sergeant checked each man's knot. Second lesson: physical training. Desmond and another private were neck and final sprint. Third lesson: they were shown firearms. The corporal gave each man a gun to pick. Everybody rushed forward to choose, but Desmond stood frozen. Because of his past and his faith, Desmond refused to touch a gun. That stance would bring him lots of trouble later. He was hauled into the officer's office, where the higher-up threatened to kick him out if he didn't handle a weapon. The sergeant then dragged Desmond in front of the others and publicly humiliated him. Next day, Smitty stormed into the barracks, flipped Desmond's bunk, canceled everyone's weekend pass, and punished them with a 20-mile forced march carrying heavy packs. Anyone who's served knows how they'd treat someone like Desmond. Early the next morning, Desmond came out of the washroom bruised all over. The sergeant looked at him and offered to take him home. Desmond put his clothes on. "Let's go." The sergeant saw no cowardice in his eyes, only resolve. Desmond told the colonel he didn't need a gun and that his wedding was that afternoon, but the officer wouldn't listen and shoved a rifle into Desmond's hands. Dorothy and friends waited anxiously at the wedding, while Desmond sat locked in a tiny cell under guard. After all he'd been through, he couldn't hold it in and exploded. Soon the corporal tried to persuade Desmond to plead guilty. If he did, he could go home. If not, he'd face prison. When the corporal failed, others tried. Dorothy even urged him to pick up a gun, but Desmond still refused. Unsurprisingly, Desmond was sent to a court-martial. Just as the judge was about to pronounce sentence, Desmond's father burst in wearing his World War I uniform and handed over a letter approving Desmond to go to battle unarmed and restoring his rank, signed by a senior officer. At that name, faces changed in an instant. After months of training, have no rear view. Following the tank were trucks full of dead and wounded soldiers. The men were shaken by the sight. Soon they reached the base of Hacksaw Ridge. They climbed rope ladders and moved into position. Smoke and bodies were everywhere. You couldn't see the Japanese. Then a soldier brushed past a corpse on the ground, and the firefight exploded. U.S. troops took heavy losses in a flash. Even tough guys like Hollywood looked scared. Smitty leveled his M19, ignoring enemy fire. Desmond went after a comrade with both legs blown off. Another medic said it was impossible, but Desmond refused to give up. He injected the man with morphine, carried him to safety, then kept going back to help others. Using the smoke as cover, Desmond ran forward. Smitty followed, but smoke hid several Japanese soldiers.
Frank, where you hit?
They found the enemy's pillbox, a bunker, several times and fell. Desmond ran to him, injected morphine, and carried him toward safety, but Smitty didn't make it. Everyone climbed down the ropes and left Hacksaw Ridge. Only 32 men managed to evacuate successfully. The sergeant left 2 soldiers to guard the spot. On the ridge, Desmond dragged a wounded man to the cliff edge, but how to get him down was a problem. Desmond used his own not to lower the first casualty, then the second. Desmond tumbled into a hole and hid. Thinking he was safe, he still bumped into another Japanese soldier in the tunnel. He dodged the patrol, then found the enemy wounded and alive. Instead of killing him, Desmond bandaged him and gave him morphine. By the time Desmond left the hole, it was night. At the cliff, wounded kept coming down, one after another. Desmond never tired. Those who had once looked down on Desmond came forward to help and comfort him. The reinforcements looked at him with respect. While Desmond rested, Sergeant Howell found him, apologized, said he'd never been so wrong about anyone, and reminded him they'd be going back to Hacksaw Ridge tomorrow. The soldiers turned to watch. The sergeant was scolded by the officer for waiting 10 minutes to attack, but he explained, with Desmond wearing a helmet, they had to be ready. Desmond put his helmet back on. The men steeled themselves. They climbed the rope ladders again. This time their faces were set, fierce and determined. The Japanese commander prepared to commit seppuku. His fall signaled the Japanese defeat there. In the end, Desmond was evacuated safely on a stretcher. Desmond Doss never fired a shot, but by the power of his faith he pulled men back from the edge of hell.